evening. My name is Buff Chase. I live on Union Street. Dear Chairman Hassett and members of the committee, we are here today to debate the rules and restrictions made by the planning staff and citizens volunteers some years ago need to be dramatically changed to allow for a building typology that is as alien to our experience and sensibility as if it was a spaceship landed from another planet. We are a small to medium-sized city of approximately 180 individuals, the center of a metropolitan area of more than 1.6 million citizens, which includes our nearby Massachusetts neighbors. We are the jewel in the crown, recovering finally now during our generation from the blight forced on us by the changing economy and the Great Depression. We've always had citizens who valued our great urbanism, our neighborhoods, our neighborhood scale, our human scale. 60 plus years ago, with our economy at a low point and not much hope before us, a group of citizens gathered together to form the Providence Preservation Society, the oldest such organization in the country. They knew what value our city had in its scale and the quality of its buildings. Today, many of those buildings have been preserved and repurposed. The neighborhoods that have benefited from these efforts have increased in value and have attracted individuals from other regions. Many neighborhoods have not been sufficiently impacted by this restoration, and there is much work still to be done. Providence has a brand, if you will, of a walkable, mid-sized city of 3 to 6 stories in height. The buildings that differ from that are the downtown commercial buildings, which were built largely by our financial institutions, and those corporate patrons were largely acquired and they abandoned our city. The Superman building being the most notable. Many of the other high-rise buildings were purposed for housing for individuals at either ends of the income scale. Large-scale affordable housing towers were the type of buildings encouraged by federal programs for the elderly and lower income. Those programs have largely disappeared, and the buildings themselves, although provided needed housing, did not contribute to the character and inclusiveness of our neighborhoods. The downtown Providence housing towers themselves, which were built as condominiums, mostly failed as real estate developments. So why today would we reject the zoning that is currently the law on the I-195 district, when other projects like the Wexford Building and River House have recently been built in the district, honoring our rules and guidelines? What brings us here today? Political pressure? Now, I understand our labor unions and their leadership often exercise their influence on behalf of their membership. And I further understand that the proponent of this rezoning effort, who does not live here, and likely never will, has spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to influence many of you and other elected officials to push this zoning through. But today, I speak to you as a fellow citizen of Providence. I love Providence, as I know each of you do. And further, you have been entrusted by your constituents as elected officials to protect this wonderful city. Then why would you ever come to a decision to arbitrarily change the current zoning on this site? A decision that would fly in the face of the progress we have all made. This proposed alien ship does not need to be built in Providence. If the proponent wants to build housing in Providence, let him have at it. We surely need additional housing for our citizens. He stated once that his development would change our attitudes about ourselves. I'd say, Mr. Fane, if you want to build here, I think your attitude needs to change to a point where you build within our mid-rise context and for the market that exists here. Do not be so arrogant, sir, that you know what's best for the citizens of Providence. Today, Chairman Hassett and members of the Council, I ask you to reject any further discussion about the rezoning of Parcel 42 and its adjacency. In doing so, you will preserve the potential of the wonderful new parks to be built along the Providence River, and the elegant pedestrian bridge near completion. These assets deserve your attention as they will belong to all of our citizens and cannot be overshadowed by a vastly out-of-scale tower of luxury homes. Let's reject Mr. Fane's efforts to arbitrarily change the zoning on this parcel and get back to the work of making our city a better place, being attractive to outside development and capital by playing by our own rules and being predictable, not going off on some crazy crapshoot. You're not scaring off outside capital by rejecting Mr. Fane's application. You're rather saying, we play by the rules. We value our brand. Please join us in the next phase of this lively experiment. Thank you very much.